do what the kids, do I have what it takes to succeed, working with kids from poverty, and sharing facts. Alright, so we have chapter 5, classroom success levels. Basically, what I'm saying is not about what teachers do in the classroom to try to make ourselves successful, but what are we doing to make the students successful. We're going to go through, put in the next slide. We're going to go through 5 share factors for the classroom, and each letter in the word share stands for something different. Standards-based curriculum and instruction, hope building, arts, athletics, and advanced placement, retooling the operating system, and engaging instruction. As we know, the classroom is the place, or we would say ground zero, for where success takes place as far as the students go. Sometimes you may have teachers or in any classroom who may say that teaching students in poverty and meeting the standards is like trying to nail Jell-O to a tree. Some may say that standards rarely match up with good instruction. Test makers get very few questions to distinguish minor skill and knowledge contrast among students. 15 to 80% of the questions are non-reference standardized achievement tests where SES linked. And SES is socioeconomic status. And tests ought to include fewer and more general items and should give teachers more specific feedback to actually improve the instruction. All right, here are some action steps that we can take as teachers to help our kids be successful in the classroom. First, let's take the time to identify core concepts and skills and questions that go together, basically giving them the big idea of what the lesson is going to be about. A lot of objectives that we have, we can chunk them together within units and make them more meaningful and enable the students to retain a lot of information within, objectives at a time. I know in language arts, you all have a lot of objectives, so we chunk those together to help. Help the students see the patterns within the content and skills being taught. We want to create questions as a guide through the objectives and units and what exactly will students know and be able to do after the lesson. All right. Again, on the action steps, pre-assess to determine students' background knowledge. You want to create a pre-test. All right, you want to see what the students know. The question should represent key concepts and skills that will be taught. You want to create a few questions for each lesson objective, which we should do all the time. And you want to have questions that will prime the students' interest. Lastly here, you want to adjust your lesson plans. You want to know where to begin your unit or lesson. You want to know any misconceptions before you start a unit. All right, what the kids know or don't know. You want to know how long you might need to spend on a certain concept and know how to group your students. And we group them in different ways. You also want to know how to prime your students' brain. You get them to think critically and compare students' knowledge before and after the lesson. See what they know before and then, of course, question them after they finish the lesson. And next we have is hope building.
Under hope building, what we really need to do is raise the bar, like it was mentioned earlier before. We need to instill in our kids that they are what your expectations are and what you would expect them to do and what they cannot do. Well, not tell them to focus on what they can't do, but they give you ways that you can instill hope. And the definition of hope simply means that we need to instill it in order to create in them the kind of motivation that they would need that would actually influence them to do better at whatever task it is that they're trying to accomplish. These are different ways. This is the theory and the research that's behind it. The but they do tell you that you can take a student survey. You can do a student survey and see where your children's level of morale is and all of that as to how you can plan or instill hope into your children. We need to do it 24/7. We need to be positive. We need to make them believe that they can do it or accomplish whatever it is, whether they're in poverty or not. It doesn't matter. All the children need hope, and we need to, as educators, we need to be able to express that to them, that there is a way that they can be successful. And that's basically the action steps for hope.
All right, arts and athletics and advanced placement pretty much just talking about sometimes they cannot get into these certain after-school programs, or they don't get enough fitness because of the economic status. They don't have money to go to the gym and things like that. But it's just saying we should have those type of programs in place here at the school for those who are lacking those at home. Talking about advanced academics, meaning that we don't have a PE class, but we're supposed to go outside for PE 30 minutes a day. Some of us do, some of us don't. Some of us punch the ones who don't get to go outside because of bad behavior. I do that all the time. And at the end of the day, that's not right, but it is what it is. And we know that we need to make sure that they're getting that in so they can get that and they're not getting anywhere else. When you're talking about a strong art program, we do have a great music program here at the school. We don't have any kind of art work as far as like art. I think we had it back in the day when I was in elementary school. We had art class, but they don't have it anymore. But that's another thing that we could do to help with those programs and just make sure that they do that every week.
Retooling of the operating system. Actually, what that means is basically what it says. The better students' operating systems are, the better they'll be able to handle the complex and rigorous challenges that school and life will throw at them. What we need is to upgrade their manner of thinking. And they actually, in this section, they broke it down into the acronym CHAMPS. And the C meaning champions, mindsets, and the student demonstrates an attitude of success, and they feel confident that they can change and learn new behaviors. And then the H for CHAMPS is for hope, effort. And again, we need to instill in them that hope that they can be successful, and this is where they demonstrate hopeful effort, having a long-term drive to achieve, and the ability to delay gratification. Because most kids today, they want it now. They don't want to wait or anything like that. So they need to build up to that accomplishment. And then the A is for attentional skills. Students possess the ability to stay focused for detailed learning, and they have the ability to shift when needed and to resist making impulsive decisions. The M is for memory. Students with good short-term and working memory have high visual and verbal capacity, and that's what research has shown. And processing skills is for P in CHAMPS, and that means the students are able to manipulate and manage visual, auditory, and tactile sensory input. And the S, sequencing skills, which is also a difficult text structure, is where students are able to organize and apply strategies and prioritize tasks and items in their day-to-day living.
All right, and the last section was engaging instruction, and pretty much all that it was talking about is the students that are in the classroom, they're supposedly in poverty. And what we have to do as educators is provide them with engaging instruction. Theory and research says that you should get students to participate emotionally, cognitively, and behaviorally. That happens when the instructional leader stimulates, motivates, and activates. Engagement can result from fun games, intellectual challenges, and your own enthusiasm. The way to do this, or the action step, says to let them take charge of their own learning. Teachers should be coaches or facilitators and only guiding the students to the desired goals. And in conclusion, it just simply says that there are many challenges. It can be challenging to find ways to encourage disadvantaged students to embrace classrooms in a school system that has worked against them. And that concludes our presentation.